Hey everyone, Blue Squadron here with another video series. This time I'm turning an Upsilon class command shuttle into this kind of Cylon shuttle. If you watched the last video series where we made a gold first place trophy out of a Lando's Millennium Falcon, this one is going to be a second place trophy. I was talking with Kaz Perch and we thought, well, we really need a second place trophy, and being silver, maybe we should do an Upsilon shuttle and kind of make it all chrome so that it's kind of like a Captain Phasma shuttle. But then I got the idea of maybe putting in some LEDs into it, and I thought, if we're already going to make it chrome, it would be cool if it kind of had that Cylon visor, left to right, glowing Knight Rider LED thing going on. As always, the first step for disassembling one of these guys is, of course, throwing it in the freezer for a few days. You'll notice that when I'm taking apart the cockpit for this shuttle, I'm putting it on a wooden block. That's going to allow me to apply some force to the shuttle without actually damaging either the wings or any of the tiny little lasers that are in the front of the cockpit. I discovered that it was very difficult for me to try prying apart the fuselage from the rear, and the reason why is because there are actually two posts on either side of the engine inside of the fuselage holding it together. There's only one post in the front of the fuselage, inside of the cockpit. That means that you can actually pry apart the fuselage kind of near where the wing connects, and you can see that here I've used my mallet to try to pry it open just a little bit. The bottom half of the fuselage actually fits inside of the top half of the fuselage. Once the bottom half begins to come free, I can start working from the front. I'm putting my screwdriver where there are those little paint dots for the lights. The seam for the bottom half actually comes up towards the cockpit. Once the gap becomes big enough to fit in my favorite tool, the standard screwdriver, I replace my tiny screwdriver with the big screwdriver and begin prying. In this case, I think I got lucky because the post in the front of the cockpit came apart very easily, so the freezer did its job. I still had to use a twisting motion to snap one of the posts in the back that just really didn't want to come out of its glue joint. This happens occasionally, and sometimes I'll even replace those posts with magnets for displays where I want to be able to take apart the model and show people how it was built. After a few minutes of prying around to the back two posts, you'll notice that the wings are beginning to come loose. The wing joints are really simple, and they're just held in place together by pressure between the top half and the bottom half of the fuselage. In opening up the Upsilon, you'll notice that it's a very simple model. There's just the top half of the fuselage, a bottom half, and then the wings. If it wasn't obvious before I started working, there isn't a whole lot of space inside of the model. It's not going to fit an LED controller or even an AT-Tiny Adafruit trinket, so this time I'm actually going to use a different technique. I'm going to be using an AT-Tiny85 microcontroller chip and soldering it directly to the LEDs and to the power source. There aren't just a whole lot of electronics I can put inside of this model, so this really only took about 4 hours, and this video series is pretty short. So stay tuned for next time, where I plan out the circuit diagram inside of a trace of the Upsilon Shuttle's fuselage. Thanks for watching!